Hey guys, welcome back to the Comedy and Custody podcast. I'm Sasha Frank.
And I'm Nebulous, Niang.
Oh, I'm a bit low energy today.
Why?
I'm actually a little bit hungover. Well, I don't know if you'd call it hungover. So I stopped drinking pretty much after I had JJ. And that implies I was drinking while I was pregnant with JJ. That's not what I meant. Start again. I didn't drink while I was pregnant with JJ. But then once I had him, do you know what? I think I just spent 9 months feeling so sick. The thought of then putting alcohol in my body, which makes me feel sick, ultimately just stopped appealing. But we had a gig last night. I say we, it was myself, Charlene, who you know all of these people, the wonderful Sam C, and Pappy Zach, who I just adore. He's so much fun. We had a gig at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Nice.
Yeah, which is very exciting. So I come from the UK, where the original Hard Rock Cafe is, and this was like where you went for really fancy dinners. It's like the coolest place you could go.
I remember.
Is the Hard Rock Cafe. So it's very cool to be performing there. And we just stuck around and had some drinks after. I honestly think I had a drink and a half, but my body's so not used to alcohol that I feel like I've had 17 straight.
Welcome to my life.
I thought of you, because you always say if you have even a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Like it's so, and I used to drink and party a lot, and I'm sure I was like this both days of the weekend at the very least. And that was why much more alcohol. But I'm a bit on the go slow today. And I was going to say I apologize if I'm not funny, but that implies I consider myself to be funny the rest of the time.
I think you are.
So here's the thing, right? It was a really fun gig. It was, different environment. But I don't, it makes you realize sometimes with comedy how much there is still to learn. Because, a setting like that, again, super fun gig, lovely audience, but a setting where people are having dinner served to them, for example, is a different kind of challenge, right? Because it's distracting, the tables are spaced a particular way. And it made me think about like the different skills that you need for different settings in comedy. And I do a lot of what I do is what they would call like club sets, club comedy. And I did my headline at Comedy Masala recently, and I took a different direction to what I would usually do when I've headlined before. So it's just got me thinking like a lot about like different comedy in different settings. And
there's a lot there. Yeah, tell me
more. Well, okay, so the Comedy Masala headlined a few times, and every time one thing I've done a lot of is crowd work, because I love crowd work. Consider it something that if I'm feeling switched on, I'm pretty good at.
Yeah, good at it.
Yeah, I had the opportunity when I was in Edinburgh a couple of years back to do a show. I did it a few times over that was just me on stage doing crowd work for an hour.
Whoa.
And it was a pretty I loved it, and there was a pretty intense. I remember like being asked, seeing it online on a forum and wanting to apply for it, and being asked to do so much to like remotely interview for this show. And I was like, what is this? Because why are they asking for so much more than just put your name on a list, tell me what shows you've done? And it was because it's like a solid hour's crowd work. And it just gave me such good experience. So when I've headlined Comedy Masala or elsewhere before, I always try and do lots of crowd work. This time round, I made it like a personal goal to do no crowd work. I did. I mean, I maybe of course I interacted with the crowd here and there, but not big chunks of time taken up talking to the crowd. I wanted to get through my material because I kind of wanted to retire some of it as well. So it was like I wanted to put it all out there.
Give it like a Viking funeral.
Absolutely. And start afresh. So that's been that was really interesting, because I felt like it went well, but in like this was really solid way, if that makes sense. Not like that was the funniest I've ever been, or that was like
Wait, solid in what sense?
So when my husband's view on it, and this is a compliment, I believe, was like it flowed really well. You told a story, beginning, middle, end. It, the end kind of goes back to the beginning, and that was very intentional. I had spent such a long time piecing it together. Switching things around and making this story, rather than just like, here's a joke, chat to the crowd, here's another joke, chat to the crowd.
It was a proper like Edinburgh hour.
It proper was. Yes, it was a proper Edinburgh hour, exactly like your show is. Like it's a proper, and I thought of you because I was like, this is a proper it's exactly that. And I thought about Slow-Mo-Sexual, and that's how you've worked on it. And I've never done that in the same way. And it was the first time I'd headlined and felt like that was a solid hour. Like, as I say, was it the most hilarious I've ever been in my whole life? Maybe not, but was it the most focused and from the heart? And
Like you did
so
yourself,
much love went. I did it justice.
You did your story justice.
I did my story justice. Yes. So so I just wanted to hear your views on that, because you do a different kind of comedy to me. You do the hour much more regularly than I do. You do less club sets, I would say. And I just wanted to know your thoughts and kind of what you think there is still to learn.
Well, yeah, no, now that you've kind of laid it out that way, I feel like we very much have very opposite approaches to comedy, because you're so good with the crowd and being very ad hoc and just like building on your natural persona, right?
Yeah.
Not persona, your natural charisma.
Thank
your natural
you.
charisma to, everybody loves Sasha. It's just a fact.
Do they?
Yeah, they
I
do.
didn't know that.
The people who don't love you are unlovable.
Oh, I will have that put on a t-shirt. I was going to wear my Nebulous Niang t-shirt today, so maybe for the next podcast I do wear it, and you wear the people that don't love Sasha Frank are unlovable t-shirt, and we call it good, and we wear them for every podcast.
We should. Yeah, it's just called the We Love Sasha podcast.
Is it not called the We Love Sasha podcast? I thought, so if we can have that amended, please.
Change the title.
So you were saying.
Yeah, because you're very good at the crowd work, and I'm kind of the opposite. I guess, maybe just for the benefit of the audience who may not know that much about comedy, generally when it comes to comedians, there's a kind of spectrum between the more material-based comics who would write down every single thing that they're going to say and then say it out and then just kind of make all these adjustments from there. You know exactly what you're going to say every single time, and then you kind of tweak it and tweak it and tweak it until it's so good, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, there are the comedians who are more organic.
Yes.
Organic, like you kind of have a gist of what you're gonna say, but then when you go up there, it really just depends on how it flows. So I always saw it as a kind of like spectrum.
Interesting.
Yeah, and well, I don't know if you saw it the same way.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with that comedy masala headline. I mean, obviously I always work on my jokes. I'm always tweaking stuff, putting notes in my phone, but I took 2, maybe 3 days of solid sitting down with the material I knew I was going to do. And I went, I went through every single word and adjusted and moved around and moved lines around and things like that.
Yeah.
And it felt like a real piece of good work.
Yeah, well, but I wouldn't say that the opposite isn't a piece of good work.
Of course, no, absolutely.
It's just, I guess it depends a lot more on the vibe of the audience that night, who you're going to play off, and like how people interact. Yeah, and for me at least, there was always so much more safety in following the script. Like that's my whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it's not just my own character, but it's my upbringing as well. I feel like in Chinese, when we grow up like learning Chinese, everything is about memorization.
Yeah,
they have like storytelling competitions, but it's based on like how well you followed the script.
Okay, so this is what I was going to say, right? Here's where I sometimes slip up and where I feel like I'm still learning is I have the opposite. If I have in my head, I'm going to go on stage and say this, that trips me up. Because then I come off stage and I'm like, damn, I know myself better than that. I knew the audience better than that. I don't know why I stuck to that plan. I should have looked at that audience. And this happens to me more than I would like, less and less as I do more comedy. I should have been able to look at that audience and know that the thing I decided I was going to say on stage was not going to be the right thing.
So you are very intuitive. You're intuitive, and you can read the room and the energy and everything.
But I think that I am not yet intuitive enough. This is what I'm kind of learning about myself, is that I am, and I know, and sometimes I go against my intuition. Because I'm like, no, I really want to work on this joke. However, I do know some people will say, you shouldn't pander to the audience. You should tell your stuff and make sure that the audience like what it is you'd plan to do. But I don't know if that always works for me.
The pandering.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's great to practice and to work out what works and what doesn't work. No, the pandering, I think, is better. Like sometimes I think,
well,
sometimes for me, again, depends on the type of show. For an open mic, you should go up and do what you plan to do, because that's the point of an open mic. But maybe for like a pro show, that's when you need, I think I should be thinking about, you know what, I wanted to tell that one joke, but I'm looking at the audience and that isn't actually going to be right for today. And I've got examples, and I'm sure you have, of where that has gone so much. I've done such a good job of that, like the last minute gone, oh, you know what this crowd needs, and it's worked. And I've got examples of like, no, I had in my head I'm going to do the baby joke, so I'm going to go do the baby joke, and then it doesn't work.
Well, that's the thing, like, because I guess it depends what you mean by pandering.
Yeah.
You know, because then maybe it's a deeper philosophical question.
Oh gosh. Welcome to the Absolutely No Comedy. We are holding you custody while you listen to our philosophy podcast.
But honestly, like, what is comedy about? Right? Like,
Is that rhetorical?
No.
Oh, can you answer it?
It's a real question.
Okay,
it's a real question. Like, what's the meaning? Why do you do comedy?
I want to say attention. Why do I do
everybody
comedy?
wants attention. We just go about it in different ways.
Interesting. Why do I do comedy? Come back to me on that. I don't know why. I mean, I've just loved comedy from day one. From the second, my feeling is like, if you can make people laugh, that is the best compliment in the world. Like, I just want people to say I'm funny. I don't care what else people say about me.
But what are you making them laugh with? Because you know, I can think of so many things which make me, well, which could make an audience laugh, but it's not necessarily something that stays with them.
So I think it's connection and relatability.
Yeah,
I think it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you agree?
Well, I've watched so much comedy online and I've laughed a lot, but I haven't been able to remember a lot of people's jokes or a lot of comedians' names or like even what they were all about. So to me, comedy is like is most meaningful. Like a laugh is a laugh, sure. But like what I like about comedy is using the laughter to like unlock a door.
Yes. So you it's like you build this connection with people and suddenly it like comes together as a
I think I kind of like the bait and switch of it, because people usually come to comedy for like a happy night out. You know, they had a stressful day at work. They just want to go and just laugh, right?
Yeah.
So that's the ostensible reason why people go for comedy.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, making them laugh is the baseline that a comedian needs to do.
Yeah.
But I want to go deeper than that. It's like you
okay.
go for a comedy show, the comedian makes you laugh, and then when you laugh, your heart kind of opens up. Your heart opens up, and then suddenly you're receptive to all these ideas or like perspectives that you would maybe never have been open to if not for the comedy. So that's what I mean. Like it unlocks the door, and then you offer something of yourself. Like you offer something vulnerable about yourself. And then people meet you there. I think it's a very lesbian way of.
I was gonna say this is a lesbian thing. I've got absolutely no idea at all what you're talking. If there was ever proof that I am a heterosexual woman, it's I have got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's just end the episode.
No, I mean everything you're saying is true. I do know what you mean, but I wouldn't have thought of it myself. I mean, for me, you know, for me, it's just the connection. It's like, you know, if you don't know me, I don't know you, and I've let you a little bit into my life.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing.
Oh, I just said it. I said it in straight.
You said it in straight language.
Yes, but yeah, but you know, we are. Yeah, I like that. Like, I want you to go away and remember who I am, and you know, I tell this. So I have a joke. I don't know if you have this. I wanted to ask you this. Do you have a joke that sometimes works really, really well and sometimes really doesn't?
Yes.
Okay, I have one as well. And what's so frustrating is I would say it has like a 30% success rate, but when that 30% hits, it's so good. And I'd have to retire it, I think, unfortunately, because I think the other 70%, it just kills, you know, how I feel on stage and how the rest of the set goes. And
so
it's
you're
so
doing it for that
30%
who will really love it, and then you don't care about the 70% who it goes over their heads.
So it's not people, it's how often it works.
Oh.
So I like 70% of the time I can't quite get it across, but when the times when I've done it right, and I can't work out what the bloody difference is.
About you doing it right? It's just like the crowd on the night.
It's so partly it relies on a little bit of crowd work, and if I can't find the right people in the crowd to bounce the joke off of, then I'm like floundering a bit.
Is this something you're willing to share the details?
Yeah, I will. I'll talk about it because I'm probably gonna retire this joke. The concept is that burping a baby, which for those that haven't done it, is a very frustrating, futile activity that you nonetheless have to do. reminds me of using a home printer because it's just a futile, annoying activity. And then I do a lot of callbacks to how much I hate birthing the baby. That works, right? However, so what I found works the best is if there is a young couple in the crowd, I make a joke about like, oh, if you ever want to like thinking about whether you're ready to have a baby, I say it much more crudely than that, but my mum listens to this podcast. That's not what I say. But whether you might proceed down that route in your life, I want you to think about how you would feel about being woken up every 2 hours in the night and not going back to sleep until you have successfully printed something. And it's a good concept. I'm proud of it.
I love it. Yeah.
But I find if I can't find someone in the room to talk to, or if I'm trying to find someone and then I've spoken to 3 people and none of them are the right demographic for the joke, it just ends up like bleh, it like falls out of my mouth. And then the callbacks get a little bit of a laugh, but it's not the same. But the times when it's gone well, like I did it once at Masala and came off stage and everybody, you know, some of the other comics, not everyone, were like, that is the best set I've ever seen you do. Wow. And like I'm still riding high off of that. But full disclosure, last night it didn't work. And I came off stage like I could have done any other bit of material. I tell you what happened last night. There was a pregnant woman in the crowd just as I was about to go off on stage and was like, perfect, this is going to work so well. And then she left before my set. But this is where I talk about I should have been able to just be like, pivot, what else am I going to do? And I was so bloody stubborn. I was like,
because
no.
you like it so much. It's almost like an addiction. You know, like you're chasing that like 5%.
I am.
It's like, so, this time it will work.
What about you? What's the stuff that you feel? Where is your example of this?
I feel like for me, it's more about the crowd in the sense that I have like a gay set and a not gay set.
Do you?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I thought you were 100% gay.
I usually am.
I didn't know you had a. Well, do you know what? Although I will say that the material of yours that I love the best is actually the more generic stuff.
You're so homophobic.
That was really, as I said it, I was like, this sounds terrible, but it's not. It just happens to be. You know why I think it is? Because I've been lucky enough to see Slomosexual many times and things like that. I think it's I don't always get to hear the other stuff. Right, so when I hear it, I'm like, oh, I love this.
Oh my God, Joyce, this other gay stuff.
Like you've got something about cleaning the tables, cleaning something about cleaning. You do. And then you have some airline related stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And like what's the cleaning? There's something about cleaning a table.
Huh.
There is. Well, think about it. Or cleaning something. Somebody's cleaning something. Anyway, she's okay, like, you've got another podcast co-host. It's not, but that's your other lesbian best friend.
My other comedy one.
Yeah.
Your other comedy one.
No, it is you, but I can't remember what the joke is. But anyway.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So tell me.
Yeah, no, well, I'm thinking right now of there's this joke which I make, which is there's a myth that people have. People believe certain myths about lesbians, and I'm here to dispel them, right? Myth number 1, lesbians hate men. That is completely untrue because straight women hate men too. So when I say that in a straight crowd, it always kills, right?
Yeah.
But I cannot tell that in a gay crowd because the moment I'm like, myth number 1, lesbians hate men, the lesbians will be like, yeah.
So it's too relatable.
Yeah, that is like, no, that's not the point. So there's some jokes which I can tell on either side. It's not that I cannot tell gay jokes with straight people. But I guess it goes back to what you're talking about, the relatability.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very fine balance between like telling something which is so relatable, but also not particularly interesting.
Yes.
To me. Yeah. So, and then if you go too far in the other direction, I think you might be able to spend some of the goodwill that you've built to go there.
Yes.
But beyond a certain point, it's going to start to deplete. And so, like, I guess being in that kind of, as a performer, you kind of need to adapt to what you feel is going to be a nice sweet spot for the audience, or at least your estimation of what a sweet spot is. Yes,
and I think when you get to the point we are 4 or 5 years in, you've got enough material to pivot as you need to, but it's knowing that is the time to pivot that I think people do a better job of 10 years in, 15 years in. and this is what I love about comedy. There's so much more to learn
It's
all the time. Endless refining of it. Sam C was on last night, and I think he's been going for like maybe 10-15 years, and he's just an absolute masterclass in comedy. We love you, Sam. And he just brought the house down. He really did. In more, no, it wasn't a tough crowd, that's not the right word, but in a trickier setting than your usual club setting, he just knew, like, how to bring them in. And I love to watch comedians that have been going for much longer, and to be like, okay, that's another thing to learn and another thing to learn. Not that we're not both great comedians, please hire us for your shows. But it's...
Well, tell me more about the club setting. Tell me more about the club setting versus like the dining setting.
Well, I mean, the main thing is if people are having their dinner and being served their dinner and ordering their dinner, that's the harder one. It's not the menus, which you do still get in a club setting sometimes because people order food and drinks and stuff. But usually the tables are set out in a way that everyone's still at least facing the stage, and it's less distracting. So what happens is people, in my view, are naturally less focused because they have something else to focus on. So you have to make sure that whatever you're doing is sucking them in 100% versus...
Well, that's a tall order.
Yeah, but I think it's still a true statement. You don't want to be background music.
Well, but also I don't think the onus is completely on you to like suck everybody's attention in, like...
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it has to be an interplay of things. It can't just be like an audience being there and being like, amuse me as I look through the menu,
No, of course. Yeah, of course. But I see it more as like the audience isn't doing that. They're like, I am looking through the menu. You are at this... Not that the audience, an audience can be like that. Human beings can be like that. We can't concentrate on too many things. Maybe that's just my ADHD. No, I can only concentrate on 75 things at once. I don't know. But then I think a club setting where the seats are facing, the stage, and the tables have been laid out exactly as, to I'm so inarticulate today, to foster that feeling of comedy club.
And the lighting and everything, it all kind of comes together
100%. So I think you have maybe 10% of the work already done for you.
As you're saying that, I just remembered that next week I have this gig which I would never have done before. It's a drive-in comedy. So literally 100 cars drive up to the stage. It's an outdoor event
in Singapore. I didn't know we had 100 cars.
There's like 100 EVs.
Yeah,
they're all going to be parked in front of the stage, and they're going to stay in their cars as we perform on the stage.
Wow.
And it's like a huge... I imagine it's going to be like basically an outdoor event, and I can't imagine how... I have no idea how it's going to go
because you can't hear the laughs.
Well, we can't hear the laughs. You can't see the faces.
Oh, I don't envy that. I don't. That's crazy.
So I don't know how it's going to be. Yeah, but I think it's going to be really interesting.
Exciting though. I can't wait to hear how that goes.
Yeah. And the tickets are sold out.
That is incredible. So I want to know something. Are you somebody where if you can't see the faces and you can't hear the laughter, do you assume the worst, that it's gone terribly, or do you assume the best, that it's gone well?
I assume the best, because like there's no benefit to assuming the worst.
See, I'm the opposite. I like, this podcast hasn't even gone out yet, and I already assume that like you guys hate it, Joyce hates me. I don't know, Spotify is going to call us up and be like, we're not putting this crap out, guys, honestly, because I can't see your faces and I can't hear you laughing. But we haven't told a lot of jokes on this
well that's fine. But Sasha, you forget, we started the whole thing with like the t-shirt, right? Which is about how like anyone who doesn't love Sasha doesn't
that. I don't think that is what you said. I think
it's what I said.
Oh, it really isn't. Either way, if you don't, if you don't love me, it doesn't matter, because I've already assumed that you hate me. So that is just how it works. Anything else we want to cover on this episode on that cheerful note?
No, I think we're good to end on your psychological defenses.
Excellent. Guys, if you've enjoyed this, I assume you haven't, follow us, or don't, you probably won't. subscribe. Is that a thing people can do? You won't do that. You don't want to. You don't like me. But whether you've enjoyed it or not, this has been the Comedy and Custody Podcast. I've been Sasha Frank.
I've been Nebulous, Niang.
Bye.
See ya.